Welcome. In this video, we'll be finding the area of a regular polygon given its radius, part 3. Let's take a look at our example. Example, find the area of the regular polygon shown below. Notice that we're dealing with the regular polygon, so that means that all sides are congruent, and all interior angles are congruent. Let's go ahead and mark that on the diagram. Now, since we're dealing with a quadrilateral, we know that the interior angles are going to have to be 90 degrees. So we represent that with this angles in the form of a box. With that said, notice that we are also given that the radius is equal to 5 square root of 2 units. So let's go ahead and summarize that information. So we know that n is equal to 4, and we also know that r is equal to 5 square root of 2 units. Now, since we're looking for the area, we're going to need two things. We're going to need the apothem, and then we're going to need the side length so we can eventually figure out the perimeter. So remember that the apothem, it's simply the segment connecting from the center to one of the sides of the polygon in a perpendicular way. So I'm going to trace that segment here. I'm going to say that that's the apothem, and that forms by definition a 90-degree angle here. Since this is the radius, we know that it's going to bisect this interior angle, and the interior angle measures 90 degrees, so this tiny angle here, it's going to be 45 degrees. So this angle measures 45 degrees. Now, let me go ahead and extract this triangle so we can appreciate the information that it's provided already. So we have this triangle here, and we know, okay, in this case, we know that this is a 90-degree angle, this is the apothem, and this is a 45-degree angle, and this is the radius. So the radius measures 5 square root of 2 units. Now, since we're dealing with the triangle, we know that the sum of interior angles add up to 180, and this is 45, this is 90 degrees, so therefore this other angle has to also be 45 degrees. And notice that this is a special right triangle. If you remember, one of the relationships that we analyzed dealt with this particular triangle, and it said as the following. If one of the legs measures x units, then the other leg has to measure x units, and the hypotenuse, the side across from the 90-degree angle, is equal to x times the square root of 2 units. Okay, in this case, I'm going to say that these two legs are equal to x units, and the hypotenuse is equal to x square root of 2 units. Setting this equal to one another, let's go ahead and solve for x. So in order to solve for x, let's go ahead and divide by the square root of 2 on both sides, and we get that in this case x is equal to 5. Why? Because the square root of 2 divided by square root of 2 is 1, and 1 times x is x, and then square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2 is 1, times 5 is 5. So we get that x is equal to 5, and that's indeed the value for the apothem. But notice that it's not just the value for the apothem, it's also the value for this other side. So we can say now that the apothem is equal to 5 units, and we have just discovered a new thing. Because this side length is 5 units, that means that the entire side length of the square, it's equal to twice as much, so this entire length is equal to 10 units. Okay, so the side length is equal to 10 units. Well, with that said, since we already know the side length and we already know the number of sides, we can figure out the perimeter. The perimeter is equal to n times s, where n is the number of sides and s is the side length. So in this case, we can say we have 4 times 10 units, and the perimeter is equal to 4 times 10, which is 40 units. Now that we have the perimeter and we have the apothem, we can actually figure out the area for this particular polygon. So we have area is equal to 1/2 times the perimeter times the apothem. Substituting in what we know, we have area is equal to 1/2 times 40 units, which is the perimeter, times the apothem, which in this case is equal to 5 units. Okay, well, we have half of 40, it's simply 20, so we have area is equal to 20 units times 5 units. Now 20 times 5 is 100, so we can say area is equal to 100, and units times units become units squared. And that's indeed the area of the square, so we can say therefore the area of the square is 100 square units. And that's how we can find the area of a regular polygon given its radius. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.